dokie. So I said before when I did a video about Ariana that I don't know, I just feel like she's going to move to New York for this guy. That's the energy I pick up on. But then they're going to end up breaking up. There's something about him that I'm not fully convinced about. And I think this is going to be very interesting, because I think as women, we really need to look. Hi everyone, welcome back to No Light Tarot. My name is Holly. I'm so grateful to have you all. So let's get into the reading. Let's just get into it. So I am really excited to be doing this. I am launching a new membership finally after some time. It will include different horoscopes for that month, so different zodiac element horoscopes, and other features too. So please stay tuned. I'm launching it this week or next week, so stay tuned. I'm still figuring out pricing. I think it will be $7.99 or $8.99 per month, and you get a lot. So other than my regular membership, this will be included. Also, regarding the regular membership, it comes with many great perks. You get first choice on a request. So if you make a request and I see a butterfly next to your name, you are guaranteed that video made. Also, you get to watch videos early, and I also release a week pick a card video. So pick a love card, pick an abundance card, just if you're looking for some motivation, you can't afford a full reading. Okay, I also release some discounts too, so it's really worth it. Now that's out of the way, I'm doing couples updates. So for members, you're probably watching this first. If you're not a member, you'll still get to watch it, but just later. So I'm doing these two. A lot of you have been asking me. I think I got at least 15 people asking me for the 15. I sound like 50, but 15. Harry Styles and Taylor Russell situation. So a lot of people want to know what's going on between the two of them, and I think it's very interesting. So let's dive deeper. So with the Justice card, 8 of crystals. I'm using the Star Child Tarot, by the way. Justice card, 8 of crystals and 5 crystals. So I see here, and I did say this, that he was going to play kind of, I don't want to say play around, but he was going to be this person that is playing the field, seeing, people are definitely going to catch on to it, and definitely going to be like, oh, let's talk about this person, talk about that person. He kind of likes it. It's like a naughty move that he's doing. But also with the Justice card, his rising is in Libra and his moon is in Libra. He wants to kind of shed, and Justice card is the card Libra, he wants to shed a lot of the labels that have been put on him when he was with Olivia. So he doesn't want to come across as somebody that was weak. I think a lot of people labeled him as like being weak, falling for her under a spell, that kind of stuff. He wants to still feel like he's in control. So right now, Justice is about balance. He's balancing himself out, especially Libras are about balance, or seeking balance. And he wants to find some balance by showing people, hey, I can still get younger girls who are this, who are that, who are fun, who are talented, who are the next big thing. I chose to be with Olivia for other reasons. I wasn't forced into it. I wasn't guilted into a situation. Do you know what I mean? So with perspective, he wants to shift people's perspective on him, an opinion about him and the situation he has been in. So it's interesting. I thought I pulled out 5 cards, and then this was under 8 of Wands. So I haven't even looked at the card, and Page of Wands. Interesting. So he is going to be on the headline. I see of different newspapers being like, he back to Playboy, back to this. If you, especially in the UK, I was talking to a friend yesterday. We were talking about Meghan Markle and the many reasons I don't like her, but one of them that I said is that British press are they're relentless. Absolutely, they'll come after you like piranhas. They are vicious, very vicious, and they're probably writing all kinds of things about him, saying like he's stuff like that. And as much as he's an Aquarius and an Aquarius, so am I, so I can relate a lot. Somebody, thank you for this compliment. It was so sweet, and said I'm the best Harry Styles reader on YouTube. And I think the reason why some of you may feel like that is because I'm an Aquarius too, and I understand Aquarius so well. I have Aquarius in my family. I've dated mostly Aquarius men, so I understand Aquarius very, very well. As much as people don't, a lot of people don't understand us, and so I've considered starting a channel that's like the Aquarius Whisperer. I don't know if anybody has a channel like that. If they don't, maybe I should start it. But I've considered doing something like that where I talk about how Aquarius were very different. And something that I see about him is that, and I can identify with this too, as much as we don't care what people think, a little bit of us cares. So when he sees those posts and stuff about him, he's like, if it is something that makes us seem weak, or it makes us seem like we were pushed into something we don't want to be in, we want to prove people wrong. I say it all the time. Some of the Aquarius want to prove people wrong. So he wants to prove people wrong and say, you know what, I wasn't weak. I wasn't under a spell. I chose to be with her because she seemed cool in the beginning, but then she became manipulative, controlling. And I've actually had that experience when I've dated Pisces too. I don't think, and I always say this, if you're a Sun in Aquarius and you're with a water sign, doesn't mean it's the end of your relationship. Personally, I have not had good interactions. In fact, 2 of my stalkers were Cancers, like serious stalking. I had to go to file restraining orders and stuff. They were Cancers. And I have had a Scorpio. I dated a Scorpio, very similar stalker energy, and Pisces, similar energy too. So I don't think water signs can handle Aquarius. I only think fire signs can handle us. I really believe that. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and Geminis too. But other than those 4, we're going to have very limiting. I think a lot of the other signs want to limit us, but fire signs are like, be you, be this, be that. We motivate each other. So and I'm not saying, like I said, it's the end of your relationship, or if you're another sign you're with, like an Aquarius, doesn't mean it's the end. It's just understand that it might not. The Aquarius, this is what Sun and Aquarius, a lot of us do. For example, I was with a Virgo, and I always felt like he wanted to be like the star, and it's not, to me, relationships are not about star versus non-star, but our card is the star in tarot for a reason. People are often drawn to us. We have a very magnetic personality, and if you can't handle that about Aquarius, do not date one. And that was Olivia with him. She couldn't handle that he was an Aquarius, if that makes any sense. So with the Wheel of Fortune, the Tower, and Queen of Cups, I see very strongly this energy of letting go, shedding, lots of shedding. He's even going to develop a new style. We'll see that a lot. And also he's going to do a podcast where he's going to talk about it. He's going to do a long podcast. I'm actually excited to hear it. It's going to be really good. He's going to talk about his past relationships. He's going to talk about his past experiences. He's going to really get into a lot of these things that people have been asking him to talk about, but he's going to address it once, and that's it. That's how we are Aquarius. You know, I recently decided to write a piece in my blog about an ex who is famous and has been seeing somebody else, and I wish him best of luck. But in the beginning it hurt, you know, but I was waiting for that time to really write it, to feel good about it, and to address it once and for all. And then that was it, you know. And you're never going to hear me talk about him again because I'm an Aquarius. That's what we do. When it comes to things that hurt us, we don't like to keep diving into it, to keep addressing it. We want to move forward. So that's what I have for you all. And I feel like this relationship with Taylor Russell, it's not going to last long. By August, it's going to be done. Okay, so let's move on to, I'm going to do 3. I said I was going to do 2, but I decided to do 3. I have extra time. Ashanti and Nelly. Somebody asked me about this. So, you know what? I'm actually going to save that for next time. I want to do a deeper dive about Ashanti and Nelly. So guys, please remind me in the comment section. I'm going to do a deeper dive about Ashanti and Nelly next time. I'm going to move on to Daniel, Ariana from Vanderpump Rules, and Daniel, her new boyfriend. So somebody asked me, and thank you so much for those of you that are watching in general, but also that entertain my reality stuff. I also have a new YouTube channel. I'm actually doing character breakdowns of the different Vanderpump Rules people, characters. Check that out. It's called Reality Tea with Hattie T. I'm going to change my name. It's the only time I've changed my name in something I've created to something soon, so stay tuned. Okie dokie. So I said before when I did a video about Ariana that I don't know, I just feel like she's going to move to New York for this guy. That's the energy I pick up on. But then they're going to end up breaking up. There's something about him that I'm not fully convinced about. And I think this is going to be very interesting because I think as women, we really need to look at who we're choosing to be with. He gives me, and I just picked this up energetically, Playboy energy. I get Playboy energy. And I think she's drawn to Playboys because I think Tom Sandoval, amongst his many issues, I think he is a Playboy. But I also think that she is attracted to these Playboys because they're fun, they're exciting in the beginning, and then after some time she realized she has nothing in common with them. But she's with her son being in Cancer. She is afraid to admit that because then she'll end up losing that person. I say this all the time. Sun in Cancers, Venus in Cancers suffer the most in relationships. If you look at Khloe Kardashian, if you look at a lot of famous Cancers, they will be in the most toxic relationships and they'll stay for many, many years. Everybody else is like, what are they doing with this person? This is crazy. But to them, having that kind of relationship that is just for them, similar to Scorpios, but Scorpios can realize it and they leave. But Cancers will often be left in the dust, you know, by the person who was horrible to them in the relationship. They really suffer in relationships. It's very sad. So if you're a Sun in Cancer, it's not the end of the world, but know this about yourself. Work on it. That's the whole point of life, to know ourselves, to know, especially with zodiacs. I say this all the time, but before I really got into astrology, which was about 7-8 years ago, I've always believed in astrology my whole life, but specifically when I got into it about 7-8 years ago, I really understood myself, you know, especially being Sun in Aquarius. I never understood why I did certain things, you know. It's like, why did I do that? But when I got into astrology, I realized, oh my gosh, that's why I do this. That's why, and it helped me so much. Therapy helped me a lot, yes, but especially understanding astrology, house placements, has helped me understand and grow as a person, massively grow as a person. So with the Hermit, 8 of Pentacles, 2 of Wands, I see very strongly, I see her moving to New York. I'm telling you, I see her moving to New York. One of her signs, one of her houses, one of her prominent houses is in Virgo. I think it's either her moon, I just got goosebumps, it's either her moon or her Mercury is in Virgo. Yeah, you guys can let me know in the comment section, but I see that very strongly. So with that being said, she's gonna hide a lot of what he does. This is the problem with her. Oh my gosh. And I don't mean to say it in a condescending way. I just feel like if something happens to you on such a big scale like that, and it wasn't her fault at all, but there were signs, I'm talking about Tom and her, there were signs about their relationship leading up to this. It wasn't just, oh, he decided to cheat, that's that, you know what I'm saying? There were many signs about Tom's behavior. I would watch things, I would even see things, because I used to live in LA for 4 years, and I would see things, I would see like towards the end of me living in LA, I would see or hear around that Rachel was hanging out with Tom, and I was like, this is very strange, very, very strange, especially if you in the industry. I used to work at a restaurant near there, so we would hear things, I used to work at a restaurant in West Hollywood, and I would hear things like that the Vanderpump staff go so forth and so forth, and Rachel's hanging with Tom and blah. I was like, this is very weird. I would not be okay. And then I saw a picture, actually I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw a picture of Rachel on Tom's shoulders, and imagine, it's just like so shocking to me. But she keeps a lot of that hidden. How she feels, she'll bottle it, and then pew, it comes out. And I think we saw that at the reunion, and I think it's okay to some extent to feel like that, but she should vocalize it before instead of keeping it. That's why I think she's Moon and Virgo. That's why I think she's a Moon and Virgo, because Moon and Virgos tend to do it, or Mercury, because they use that as a weapon. So with the bottom of the deck being the star, people are going to focus a lot on her and her relationship, but I just don't see it panning out. I see it being very superficial. He's a very superficial guy. I think he's a Sagittarius, and I'm not saying anything bad about Sagittarius. Actually, my great relationships have been, romantic ones have been with Sagittarius and Geminis. So I'm not saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying, and I feel like this a lot of the time, Sagittarius, as they mature, as they mature, they make better partners. Sometimes, Sagittarius will be like, oh, they're very lucky people. They're like lucky, and then they get slapped in the face, and they're like, okay, I'm not so lucky after all. Do you know what I'm saying? And then they have to decide if a lot of Sagittarius unfortunately go through very tragic circumstances in their late 40s, early 50s, which kind of like wakes them up. And I see that happening to him. I get Sagittarius right. If he's on Sun in Sagittarius, I see him being rising Sagittarius or Mars in Sagittarius. But something, because on Mars, that house rules life events a lot of the time. So I see that happening, and he's kind of just going to be like wishy-washy. Once she gets to New York, he's going to be wishy-washy, isn't going to be that committed. It's very unfortunate. Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Pentacles. I'm using also the Moon Child Tarot for this reading. Wheel of Fortune, 10 of Pentacles, Page of Cups. Yeah, he's going to be all words and like, oh gosh, he loves to seem, this is why I think he's Sagittarius, loves to seem like the charmer, they're very romantic, very dreamer, which I love about Sagittarius. There's a lot of many things I love about Sagittarius. I just think a lot of Sagittarius are very immature until they get woken up by life. and then they have to be like grounded, you know, because they're constantly up in the air. You know, the Sagittarius is the Pegasus, you know, human from up, horse from down. So they're constantly running, and sometimes running away from their problems, you know, and until they run too much and they have to deal with it. So with 5 Swords, Knight of Wands, especially also with substances, if they don't have substances under control. Geminis too, you know, they are opposites. But Geminis too, you know, have similar energy in that way, that they can run away from their problems, spend their life running, and then sometimes they use a substance to cope with life, to cope with their issues, which is kind of fake dealing with the situation. But him, I see kind of running away from family stuff. I think there's a lot of family trauma, as we all have. But instead of addressing it, I think he just like acts like it doesn't exist, you know, until one day he's going to have to, especially with her. I think she's like, as she attracts, and I've been there before, where I've attracted, I was doing work on myself, and sometimes when you are healing yourself, you are working on yourself, you attract people that aren't, that are living in like a party world, because they need guidance, but you can't give it to them, you know. There's only so much you can do. So I see that happening with them. Yeah, that's it. I am going to do a Shanti and Nelly. I'm going to do a longer one where I do like the charts and everything. I want to make sure I do it properly. But other than that, I love you all. Please stay tuned for a new membership on the way. And yeah.